Here are 10 things you should do before the end of the year that will help you get a better handle on your money, save on taxes, and set yourself up for 2026 and beyond as you near or enter retirement. Number one is take stock of where you're at. What is your net worth? What are your investments doing? What is your financial picture? So many of us do not track this. If you need help with that, we'll link our net worth tracker below. It'll keep track of your assets, your liabilities, and give you your net worth. This is something that you should be tracking year over year to see, am I moving in the right direction? It's also something that you're going to have together to meet with your financial planner if you're getting close to retirement to see, can I retire? How much money can I have? Where should it come from? All of this is really important, but it starts with tracking where your current set of affairs are at. The second thing you need to do, which will tie off of number one, is to review your investments. At the end of the day, your investments are a very massive part of your retirement and being able to retire. And when was the last time you reviewed how your investments are doing? How are they doing compared to the market? We've had a really good market for a lot of years. And so you might be looking at it and say, it's making money, it's doing well for me. But is it doing well compared to the market? Like, are you getting value? What are the fees you're paying? And sometimes this is very convoluted. Let me tell you, I've been in this business for 2 decades, and the fee discussion has been going on the same for those 2 decades. And the solution hasn't come to market. It's really confusing for you, the end consumer, to figure out, like, what am I actually paying? So have those hard conversations. If you have an investment advisor, someone that looks after your money, what are you paying? What are they collecting? What are the costs of the actual underlying investments? And do they collect some of that as well? So these are conversations you need to have, and then take a step back to say, am I getting value for this? Again, I've said many times, if you're just paying someone to pick mutual funds or ETFs for you, you're probably not getting much value if they're also charging a decent fee on top of that. Whereas if they're charging a fee for tax, retirement, financial, estate planning, and the investment manager is more looking after the investment, then there's value there, right? But again, take a step back and look, what are my returns? What am I paying? And what am I getting for that payment? And is there value there? So great time of year to review all of that as you head into 2026. Before I jump into number 3, if you haven't checked out our weekly Retirement Unpacked podcast, make sure to check that out. We have a brand new episode every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We have that on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms where you listen to your podcasts. Number 3 is tax loss harvesting. And this is a really important one for any of you that have non-registered investment accounts. Come the end of the year, it's important to look at how much money have I made in my investments? Do I have investments that have gone down that I should maybe sell and tax loss that harvest? So these are things you need to do. But tax loss harvesting is looking at your overall portfolio of unregistered investments and looking like, maybe I've had some gains earlier in the year. I have a stock that hasn't done, or an investment that hasn't done too well, and I could sell that at a loss to offset the gain to alleviate or maybe even minimize or get rid of altogether that tax bill that would be there otherwise. So again, tax loss harvesting, maybe you had a loss earlier in the year and you're looking to trigger a gain to kind of create that neutralization on that. Again, there's many ways to tax loss harvest, but if you have a non-registered investment account, you want to take a look at that with your investment advisor before the end of the year to see if there's some tax planning opportunity that you can take advantage of. Number 4 is take advantage of employer matching. Many of you don't have defined benefit plans anymore. They're not really available unless you work for the government. So most of you have maybe a matching RSP plan or something like that, but your company is offering money on the table. And so many of you aren't taking advantage of that. So make sure you understand, what are your benefits at work? Is there a matching plan? And have I taken advantage of that? Because most of you haven't. So what are you able to do before the end of the year to maximize that? The other thing I'll add in here as a little bonus is look at your health and dental plan. If you haven't used all your benefits this year, make sure to utilize that. A lot of benefits end at the end of the year and restart January 1st. So are there some maybe dental things or medical things you need to take advantage of while you have that coverage before it resets January 1st? Take a look at that and see where you can maximize those benefits. Number 5 is for anyone that has a potential or a set large purchase early in 2026, and if you plan to use your tax-free savings account. So if you have a large purchase in January, I would say January, February, March, April, so the first 4 months of 2026, if you have a large purchase that money is going to come from your tax-free savings account, I would encourage you to consider pulling that money from your tax-free savings account before the end of the year. Then you have the money set aside for that purchase, and that allows you to top that TFSA up through 2026. If you wait until the purchase happens in 2026, you're going to have to wait till January 1st of 2027 to be able to recontribute that money back to your TFSA as you get it back. So if you need more information on that, we have lots of videos on our channel on TFSAs. But again, the key point here is if you have a large purchase early in 2026, plan ahead before the end of the year, pull that money out of the tax-free savings account. Thus, in 2026, as you earn money back and you're able to put money into tax-free savings, you'll actually have that contribution earned back. Number 6 is a big one for me, and that is set goals and look at your bucket list. So many of you, don't set goals, and a lot of you might set goals. It's in your head, it's there. Put it on paper, share that with someone. I've talked about that a lot here. The impact it has to write down your goals is massive. And then if you take that a step further and actually share it with someone or a group of people, it goes that much further. So it's a great time of year to set goals for 2026 and beyond. What you want to do, what you want to accomplish, how much you want to save. Maybe you want to retire next year. What does that all look like? Write those goals down and then again, look forward more. What is your bucket list? What do you want to accomplish in retirement or over the next 5 to 10 years of your life? Write those things down and set actionable goals. Like how are you, so here's my goal, but how am I actually going to get to my goals, right? Here's the end point. Here's where I'm at. What is the roadmap to get there? Make sure you write this down on paper, share it with people that you trust. Maybe it's a spouse, partner, friend, whatever. I have an accountability group I've been a part of. A bunch of guys I went to university with. We've been doing this group for over 20 years. And we have a chat 6:15 a.m. every Thursday morning for an hour. And most of us are business owners or high up in our businesses. And we just talk about life, business, just stuff that's going on. But part of that is goal setting, accountability, all of that. And it's been great for me. There's 6 guys in the group and we meet every single week. And then we do lunch, coffee, etc. once in a while as well. So again, I encourage you, find that group, have that accountability, write down your goals. And I promise you, you will have more success with your goals and bucket list items if you have that surrounding them. Number 7 is charitable donations. If you have a giving heart and you're looking to donate some money before the end of the year, remember December 31st is the cutoff. And this might be a great year to donate shares in kind. So if you have investments that have increased in value over the last year or number of years, and it's in a non-registered account. So let's say you put $10,000 into an investment years ago, and that's grown to $20,000. And you want to donate $20,000. Well, you can actually donate that stock or that investment in kind to a charity. They will receive the full $20,000. You get the full $20,000 donation credit. So that's what you're looking for. And the $10,000 gain is basically never paid tax-wise because it's avoided on your side. You've donated those shares. And when the charity gets it, they don't pay it on their side. So it's really one of the ways where you can get a double, I call it a triple tax benefit, in that you're avoiding the capital gains, you're getting the full $20,000 donation credit, and the charity gets the full $20,000. So there's 3 massive benefits there. So this could be a good year. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of you have done really well on investments for a number of years. If you have non-registered investments, you might be sitting on a large gain. Is there a charity that's near and dear to your heart that you want to help out? Donating in kind can be a great way to do that. Again, if that's not your situation, but you want to donate, make sure you do it before the end of the year so that you can get those tax breaks in 2025 as you plan ahead for 2026. Number 8 is to convert to your income account. So if you're someone that's looking to convert your RSP to a RIF and start drawing out of a RIF or a LIF next year in 2026, I encourage you to convert your RSP or your LIRA into a RIF, a retirement income fund, or a LIF, a life income fund, for income payments in 2026. Now, why do you want to do this before the end of the year? Well, it will give you a minimum payment amount for next year. And what that does is it allows you to draw some of your money out, the minimum amount, without withholding tax. It is still taxable income, but they're not going to withhold tax at source. And for a lot of you, especially in your first few years of retirement, there can be a lot of withholding tax, and typically more withholding tax than you're going to pay. So having that minimum payment and no withholding tax on that will maybe make a better tax situation, everything balancing out as close to equal as possible, but hugely beneficial. So again, if you're planning to draw from a RIF or LIF next year in 2026, take time and convert now. A lot of financial institutions have a deadline. Sometimes it's early to mid-November even. So get on this, convert those accounts, and set yourself up for payments in 2026. Number 9 is for those of you that are retired or retiring next year, and it's to build that cash wedge. Make sure you have a clear cash wedge for 3 to 5 years of income going into 2026. It's important. And when I say cash wedge, we've talked about this a lot, what it looks like. We have a whole series on that. We'll link that below. But at the end of the day, your cash wedge isn't money just sitting in cash. It's the income you need to draw out of your different accounts. Let's say it's an RSP, you've converted it to a RIF, you need to pull out $40,000 in 2026. And for the next few years, you need about $120,000, 3 years of cash flow, not in the stock market. What happens if January of 2026, the stock market drops 30% and sits there for a couple years? That could happen. We don't know when, how deep, how often it's going to happen, but we will see market correction. So building up that cash wedge is just taking money out of the market and putting it into something safer. The rate of return may not be as high, but protecting that asset is going to protect your income, which is going to protect your go-go years of retirement. So there's a financial benefit, but there's a huge psychological benefit as well. So just make sure you have a clear plan heading into retirement, and then make sure your investments and cash flow planning are aligned with that plan moving forward. And number 10, you can probably guess, is get a plan. So many of you are walking into retirement without a plan. Maybe you're a few years out from retirement and you think you can retire, but you're not sure. Look, get a plan in place. It'll clearly show you A, when you can retire, and B, how much money you can pull out. And then the third part, which is maybe the most important, is how do you actually draw it out? How do you decumulate your assets? For a lot of you, you're in accumulation mode. You have extra money to save, you save it, you're buying companies, market's done well, it's been great. But as you walk into retirement, you enter into a decumulation mode of your assets. You're actually selling and drawing down your accounts. And the way you do that is very unique. How you structure your portfolio is different. There's a lot of moving parts. Again, for a lot of you that have employment income, you get one paycheck. They take off the right amount of tax. It's very simple. If you want to save money, you put money into an RSP or you donate money. When it comes to retirement, you could have, as an individual, 4 to up to 7, 8 income sources. A couple, your double-digit income sources. Some are taxable, some are not. Some you can take now, some you can delay. There's a benefit to delay some. There's not a benefit to delay some. There's so many moving parts. There's a big puzzle piece. And so a proper retirement plan will put that puzzle pieces back together and make everything work together, right? Instead of in all these different silos, things start to come together and work together. And when things work together, it's for your benefit. It's putting your after-tax money in your pocket. It's helping you pay less tax, but it's giving you that clear direction, showing you when you can retire, how much you can have, and where you should pull that money from. If you have any questions on today's video or have ideas for future videos, leave those below in the comments. We'll see you in the next video.